Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2023 French drama Emma Gloria. Hey, well, I like it. I like that spunk. Let's get this going. Now, Emma Gloria has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 83% fresh rating from the audience. I'm currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics in chronological order. Now, I think this is probably going to be a short review because it's not that I didn't like Emma Gloria. I thought it was a decent movie. It's just incredibly boring to me. It's very slow. Not a whole lot of stuff goes on. It's really a lot of the same throughout the entire movie. It's just really drawn out. And to me, it's a bit forgettable. Like 10 years from now, I'm probably not going to remember this movie. I'm going to have to go back to this review just to remember what I thought of it. So it's not the strongest movie on this list for me. So essentially what it is, we have a girl named Cleo who's 6 years old. Now at the end of the movie, there is a really good bit of acting from her. She really gets emotional. You really finally see her feelings, and she lets everything come out in just this large eruption of tears and sorrow, but she lives with her nanny Gloria. Now her mom has passed away, unfortunately, but she does have a dad. Not exactly sure where the dad is at this point, but she lives with her nanny, and they have a great life together. They have a lot of fun. The nanny takes really good care of her. One day, her nanny gets a phone call letting her know that her mom has passed away as well, and that she needs to go back to Santiago to take care of her mother's affairs. And also, I believe it's her daughter in Santiago, or there's a family member that she has in Santiago who is also young and pregnant and is about to give birth. So she needs to go back to her as well to kind of be there when her family member gives birth. Now, of course, Cleo is devastated by this because she's going to lose her best friend and the person who takes care of her. She really doesn't know what to do. Now she calls her dad, and her dad says that she can go with Gloria to Santiago to kind of spend the summer there and to have some fun. And so she does that. And when she gets to Santiago, she plays with the other children. Now the other children do, one of them at least treats her a little bit differently because she's like the only female Caucasian person there. She's kind of nerdy. She has like glasses on. She is a bit emotional. She doesn't talk that much. There's actually not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie at all. It's really just driven by actions and the what people are doing, how they're playing out in front of you. So while in Santiago, Cleo is playing with the other kids. She's interacting still with Gloria. Gloria is building some sort of like resort or hotel, but she hasn't paid the people apparently who are building this hotel, so they've stopped construction on it. And she's a bit annoyed by this because she needs it done by a certain time, and she's pretty demanding that they continue construction on it anyway. I think at the end of the movie they do continue construction on it, but I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if it was clear that she actually paid them or did anything that she was supposed to, but it seems like they were continuing construction on it again. Anyway, her daughter slash family member ends up having the child. And at one point, Gloria, the child is crying, not Gloria, sorry, the child is crying, and Cleo goes to the child and starts shaking it. She's like, "Stop crying, you're going to wake Gloria up." And she gets very upset at this child because she's realizing that this child is going to keep Gloria in Santiago, and she's not going to come back with her to the States. She's not going to be there anymore, and she's losing her best friend, and she's blaming this child for the loss of her best friend. And it's just like this pent-up emotion and this outburst that she finally has at the end of the movie where she finally shows some emotion. She really just like walks through the movie somewhat emotionless through the whole thing, just kind of going through motions of playing with children and being teased and doing whatever. And then at the end of the movie, she like jumps off a cliff into this body of water that like the other kids are doing, but she hasn't done it before, so she is a bit like scared by it, and the other kids have to rescue her, and then she has her emotional outburst. And I mean, that's really the entire movie. It ends with her like having this emotional outburst and realizing that Gloria is not going to be there for her anymore, and that she's going to have to live her own life because Gloria is going to live her own life as well. and I guess it's like a coming of age movie. It's a coming of realization movie. It's a movie where you kind of don't understand what you have until it's gone, type of thing, where you think that you're going to have someone in your life forever, even though she's a young kid and she hasn't lived that much. She's what, 6 years old. She doesn't understand the idea of, well, I don't want to say that because she lost her mom, so she has to understand the idea of loss. But she thinks that she's going to, it's one of those situations where you think you're going to be with someone forever, you're always going to have someone there by your side, and one day you just don't. And it's very traumatic, especially when you're young. It's very hard to see the rest of your life without that person, to picture the fact that you might live like another 80 years without having that person in your life. It's very difficult. It's very hard. And that's kind of the realization that she's going through. And that's the entire movie, essentially. The pacing for me was extremely slow and brutal. To be honest, it was hard to keep my attention with this movie. Also, the fact that there's not that much dialogue and it's just having to watch scenes unfold. I don't do great with those type of movies. I didn't do great with this movie. It was really the end, the impactful scenes at the end, where Chloe finally shows her emotions, where you finally see what's like inside, going on inside of her. You finally see kind of what makes her tick, and finally see how she feels about what's going on, and her feelings aren't bottled up inside. That, I think, save the movie and actually make the movie watchable if you can get to that point. But this movie was just too slow for me. I'm gonna be honest, and I've had people flame me before for saying that a movie is boring or too slow, telling me that my attention span's not good enough or whatever. You can say what you want. This movie was too slow for me. It wasn't all that interesting, to be honest. It's not really a story that's unique. It's a story that I've seen before, and I don't think this was done as well as some of the other movies that have this type of story in it. All in all, though, it's still an okay movie. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It's a 7. I still give it a 7.5 out of 10. Solid enough, especially with the ending. The ending saved it. The great acting performances at the end saved it. So it's going to be 7.5 out of 10 for me. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called There's Still Tomorrow. It's an Italian movie. Thank you. Have a great day.